Hey everyone, this is my and my partner's adaptation presentation on homeless students. So what is homelessness? So there's more to consider for homelessness than just living on the street. The California Department of Education, or the CDE website, has provided an outline for what it looks like to be a homeless student. So it's a child or youth who does not have a regular or nice place to live at night. Students and youth who share housing with others because of economic hardship or loss, and that goes for obviously their whole family. Students and youth living in hotels, shelters, motels, trailer parks, cars, parks, train stations, abandoned buildings, parks, I put parks twice, public spaces, etc. Children who are part of migrant families are also considered homeless, which I found interesting. That was just something I never considered. And then at the bottom, I put the link to the CDE website, so you can look at more of the facts, and it gives you a lot of good resources. So homeless students in California and the United States. It is hard to pinpoint the exact number of homeless students in California, because it varies, and as I mentioned on the last slide, there is a high migrant population. It is estimated that there are about 200,000 students under the age of 18 who are homeless. About 1/5 of students who are homeless in the United States are in California. And out of that percentage, about 52% of homeless students are pre-K through 5th grade students. So about 3 to 4 to about 10 and 11. About 20% are in 6th to 8th grade. And then almost 28% are in 9th through 12th grade. 1 in 30 K through 12 students are homeless, and that's within the United States. And then 57% of homeless students have at least one day a month without any food. And considering that schools throughout the country have a free and reduced lunch program, and they also sometimes provide breakfast, that's still interesting to think about, that students still have one day a month that go without food, usually on weekends. Percent of homeless students in schools. So the amount of homeless students in California varies by county. And within California, the lowest county is hopefully I am pronouncing this correctly, is the Inyo County, with about 1%. The highest is the Calaveras County, which is just under 20%. Kern County averages out at just under 4%, and then the average for the state is about 4.5%. So homelessness affects students more than just not having a constant place to live and not getting their basic needs met. It does start to show in their academic performance. So in this graph that I found, you can see that in grades 3 through 8 in reading and math, the homeless students perform average anywhere between about 15 to 20% in both reading and math, and it varies between grade. So I just found that interesting, just how much it varies and the performance gap. And then on this graph, you can see the variation of percentages of homeless students across the United States. And I found it interesting that there's very few places where it's less than 1%, and it's only 3 states: Rhode Island, Connecticut, and New Jersey. Most from this map, it ranges between 2% or more, and the average among the U.S. is about 2.5%. For the classroom environment, provide food for children. Many districts do provide breakfast and lunch, and even dinner for students in after-school care. Show compassion and understanding for these students because they don't have a typical home life. Provide students with toiletries and time to clean up at school because they aren't getting the necessary or the typical basic needs met. Allow for students to stay after school or come in early to complete homework. Positivity, be a consistent support system. Routines. Students who are homeless often look for consistency in routines at school because they aren't getting it when they're not at school. Academics. Assess students' needs beforehand to find out where they need extra help. Take time each week to check in with these students to make sure they have basic items. For assignments, make sure they don't have to be completed at home, and allow students to have time in class to work on it. It's also really important to make sure you don't punish students for not returning homework because they don't necessarily get the opportunity to do it at home, after school, wherever. Avoid assignments that need the internet or television. And then give students a journal to communicate with you because you might not necessarily have the time during the day to talk to them, or they might not want, they want that privacy to talk to you. Social behavior. Homeless students may be withdrawn or depressed. They crave consistency and routines, like I mentioned before. Oftentimes school is the only place where they can get the consistency and the routines that they crave. If you do have a homeless student in your class who is withdrawn or stays away from other students, probably the best option is to refer them to the school counselor to help, to make sure that they get the support that they need. And definitely give students a way to feel empowered, like rewarding them for coming to school or turning in homework. This makes them feel like they have some control over something in their lives, because school could be the one place. So that's it. Thank you for watching.